Welcome back to our coverage of the Among Us inspired UV painting. We'll go live to ground control as we wait to hear back from our astronauts in space.
RCLS Summer Reading Program, this is ground control. Do you copy? We read you, ground control. This is RCLS Summer Reading Program. We have a bit of a situation here. It appears Purple is Impostor. Copy that, RCLS. We read you. Could you explain how that happened? The first thing we used was a square canvas, about 14 inches by 14 inches as we recorded earlier. Next, we gathered our supplies of black acrylic paint, purple acrylic paint, yellow acrylic paint, orange acrylic paint, gray acrylic paint, light blue acrylic paint, and white acrylic paint. After the acrylic paint, we picked up the purple UV paint. Glow-in-the-dark could also be used. And then the white UV or glow-in-the-dark paint. And finally the red UV or glow-in-the-dark paint. Copy that, RCLS. Did you also use a paper plate to mix your colors, water to clean your brushes, and various brush sizes to create your painting? Roger that, ground control. We have all our supplies ready and we're ready to rock and roll. RCLS, can you explain what happened then? Over. Everything started to go sideways once we cut out the Among Us stencils. Next, we had to draw a giant circle in the middle of our canvas. After drawing the circle, we were forced to draw the crewmate's body using the stencil. We had to trace very lightly, and we also needed to trace the air pack and the crewmate's face shield. We were told that we needed to draw lines that divided the circle into 8 pieces, but didn't intersect into the crewmate's body. The last step for tracing we were told to do was to lightly trace the outline of another crewmate's dead body. During the next phase, we were told to paint every other section of the circle yellow. After we completed that mission, we were then told to paint the other sections orange. Once we painted 2 or 3 layers of yellow and orange, we were told we could take a short break. We were then told to mix purple with a small scoop of white to create a light purple. That light purple would be used to fill in the crewmate's body. Then we mixed a little light blue with gray and filled in the crew member's face shield. We were told to paint 2 or 3 layers just to make sure the crewmate was filled in. We needed to add shadows to the body, so we painted the air pack and the bottom half of the crewmate purple. Then we painted the lower half of their face shield and the shadow under their body with glow. We used white to paint a small reflection glare on the face shield. Finally, we were told to use the black paint to outline the circle, the crew member, and fill in the corners. RCLS semi-reading program. Is that all that happened? Over. No, because the next thing we knew, we were using the UV white paint to outline the hand, the face shield glare, and the crewmate's body as the impostor. Then we mixed a little white UV paint with our purple UV paint and filled in the impostor's body. Then we used the red UV paint to trace the outline of another crewmate's dead body. To fill in the crewmate's bone, we used white UV paint. We then decided to use red UV paint to label our impostor. Did you freehand or use a stencil for this? Over. Either works, but we used the stencil. Over. Control, we did use a UV light to help make sure we didn't miss any spots that we painted. Over. Was that all that happened? Over. Roger that, except for when the lights went out and the black light came on. We saw the impostor's aftermath. Come in, Mission Control. This is RCLS. Mayday, Mayday. Purple is impostor.